Good morning, my name is Jeff Lashley and this is week 4 to the Gunsmithing Tools Lab. Today is November 10th, 2023. I will start off a detailed strip of my AR-15 by making sure that the weapon is safe and that there are no rounds in the chamber. I will make sure that the feed source has been removed, make sure the weapon is unsafe. I will check the chamber for live rounds or any casings at all, visually and physically checking, make sure that it's empty. From there, I will go ahead and do a detailed strip of the lower receiver. The upper receiver will only do the bolt carrier group. I do not have the tools or the education yet to do any barrel or anything like that. So separating the two, remove the charging handle. The bolt will come out. Set these two off to the side, and we'll put those back together later. The firing pin retaining pin is removed, tap, and the firing pin will come flying out. Next, remove the cam pin in order to pull out the bolt. So that's as far as I'm going to take this down for this evolution. I'll then prepare for the lower receiver. Alright, first thing here, I will go ahead and remove the buffer and buffer spring. Do that by pushing down on that tab right there. Remove that. And then I'll go ahead and remove the buttstock. Buttstock, you just pull down on the lever in the back and it'll slide straight off. From there, we will then take our armor's wrench and we will remove the castle nut. Loosen it up on the back, and as you loosen it up, you start turning the actual rear of it. You want to make sure, as I just did, I didn't make sure that it I retained that spring, but I got lucky and it flew out where I could find it. But as you loosen it up, there's two springs, one on the very, very back, and then your buffer spring and pin retaining pin right there. So pull those out, and then you can go ahead and remove the buffer tube. Now going forward, that spring that flew out is your aft pin, and there's a small little nipple that is in there as well. So luckily I didn't lose that. So it's very, very, very tiny. So from there, we can go ahead and remove the bolt catch, and I'll do so by prepping it with some tape so I don't damage my AR. So next, I'm going to take this bolt catch out. I'm going to do so by taking a punch and tapping out the roll pin. I'll place my hand underneath in case it comes out. In doing so, don't get your punch wedged in there because it is at a slight angle, which I believe I have, so we'll tap. We'll tap it back the other way a little bit, and then we can this time use just a little bit more finesse to make sure that it doesn't wedge in there. Let's see if I've got a better punch here. Alright, so I used a little bit longer punch there, and I was able to remove the pin far enough to get that out. And again, make sure that you're not letting pins fly. I'm sorry, the springs fly around. And then also there's a small little indent nipple again in the area there that you need to be careful and make sure you can find it. So I'll go ahead and take this tape off for the time being. So I'm going to leave that pin just kind of hanging out there so I don't lose it, and this also makes it easier to start whenever I go back to put it together. So just keep that in mind. So next I'm going to go ahead and remove the handle, and this will then allow me to remove the safety lever. There's a spring and nipple underneath, a little indent that holds that in there, and you must remove this. So okay, so I got my tool ready here. Like I said, just turn it just, a little bit. They're not tight. We'll make sure that they're properly torqued, but hold the handle in to make sure the spring that is in there doesn't come flying out. It should be loose enough there. Hear the spring release right there. Here's the bolt for that. And then from there, the safety lever will come right out. And then drop the nipple on the floor. Thankfully, he's watching where it went. And you can pick that up and put it back. Okay. Next will be the trigger assembly. I'll remove those 2 pins, and then I'll restart the video and show what I've removed. Alright, so I've removed my trigger, the firing group, and the retaining pins, they just come right out, left to right. We'll set all that down right there, and we'll get ready to remove our magazine release, which is fairly straightforward. Make sure you turn it the correct way, and then once you get it far enough out, let it go back in. Try not to scratch up the finishing on your firearm. But once it comes off, there's a spring in there. Again, you don't want it to go flying. And then that's it for that. Next, we will go ahead and remove the front post. There's a pin and push pin that you will push in. It's kind of hard. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to get that out real quick. Alright, so I got the front pin out. It's actually very simple once you remember how to do it, and you have the tools to do it. And then there's a small spring here. Take that out. Just like that. Get all the other springs out that was hiding that you didn't pay attention to. And then that is the detailed strip of my lower receiver. Now, putting it back together to keep the video short, I'm going to put everything back together and then show a completed end result. As you can see, the serial number, this will match whenever I get it back together. Alright, I've got the AR-15 put back together. Everything is functional. I will go ahead and do a functions check and show that the rifle is put back together properly. So the weapon is on safe. Pull the trigger, nothing happens. Whenever I charge it, let go of the charging handle and the bolt goes to the battery. Put the, first let's physically and visually check the chamber again for safety purposes. Put the weapon on fire, pull the trigger, fires. Now I'm going to pull the charging handle to the rear, reset, the trigger. You can hear it reset. At that time, you put the weapon on safe. And that concludes the disassembly detail strip. The tools I used was a brass hammer, a few picks, a few punch, and the master, it's called an AR-15 master kit. So basically it has everything that I need to work on them. Has this handy little tool right here to put the detent wrench or detents, the takedown pins back in very easily. And that's pretty much it. So, and this is probably the most important tool right here is a magnetic tray. Oh, and the vise. All right, that concludes my detail strip today. Thank you very much.